What's up, everybody? AW News, new show, bunch of bullshit, and we're here to talk about it for the YouTubes. Um, so AW Collision, a new Saturday night 2-hour show that I'm not quite sure we really needed, but hey, if a network's like, we want more programming and we'll give you more money, I wouldn't say no either. So it's a Saturday night deal, 8 p.m. I'm not sure how many people are going to watch this live, which leads me to what is my biggest issue at the moment is there is no announced streaming deal, which I've said many times on our podcast. Go subscribe, link in the link below. Which I've said many times that if you don't have cable, there's no legal way to watch AEW programming unless you want to go out of your way and find other alternatives, which do your own research.
Your friend's parents' cable account.
Well, that's what makes
Also
them
that.
not legal ways.
Yes, exactly. So I guess my whole thing with that, and obviously there's other stuff coming out of the announcement today, but Saturday night, 8 p.m. show on, on TNT, 2 hours. Are people gonna care? We've seen what happened with Rampage to where the first Rampage had, the CM Punk introduction.
And what is
Which
the first episode of Collision?
allegedly a CM Punk reintroduction. But another 2-hour show in general. I'll toss it over to you, Skylar. Is it just too much wrestling?
Well, so apparently Rampage is now going to be Sunday Night Heat.
Which it should be, because that's kind of what it is. But
that's what it's basically become. Yes.
Yep.
To the point where when Jack Perry is saying to MJF, "Have you ever even been on Rampage?" That's when I knew that they knew
it's dead because
that was the
Rampage.
moment.
Yep.
So there's too many people on that fucking roster. They might do a soft brand split. They might not. I don't know what the fuck that's all about, and I still think it's fucking childish.
Yeah.
I mean, and I find it weird that they keep saying they're going to center it around Punk. One, they didn't even mention him in any of the promotional material, which part of me thought they would announce him tonight. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Rampage went off the air. I haven't or not Rampage. I'm sorry. Dynamite went off the air and I haven't checked yet. Let me check real quick right now.
Yeah. I think my whole thing with, the Punk stuff is we're just redoing what we did for that first Rampage, and it was special then, but I don't know what would make this so special now, especially, the whole purpose of why he's returning based off of a backstage fight, whether was it a work or not. No one fucking knows anymore because it's wrestling.
I find it kind of weird that it feels like he's recently been going on this apology tour.
Yeah.
It feels like obviously there was a whole thing that where he was backstage at Raw recently, and it sounded like it, he cleared the air with the Miz. He saw people and nobody that saw him there, apparently nobody that saw him there had any issue with it. And, they were cool with him. Even he shook hands with Triple H.
Yeah.
That in itself is like, oh. Yeah. And he asked, like, hey, is it okay that I'm here? And Triple H was just like, let me go check with the big guy.
He in fact was not okay to be there.
He in fact was not. And it may only be because he is under contract to AEW.
Right.
For all we know.
Yep.
And apparently he was like, yep, nope, cool. I'm out.
Yep.
Take care.
So
and it sounded like he was doing the same thing. Like apparently the meeting with Jericho was uneventful in the way that it's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, let's make some money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, wrestler, you're trying to keep this, you're trying to keep people guessing with all this stuff, whether you're like, I won't work with this guy, I won't work with that guy. I mean, I'll pass it to CJ. The whole Saturday night show stuff, whatever, the Punk stuff. I mean, I guess, what do you think about it ultimately? Is this just, like I said, I think this Saturday show is ultimately coming from Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't think
it is.
Right. Like this isn't AEW going, we need more show. This is a network saying we want more shit and we'll give you more money for it. So I'm okay with it. But I guess your thoughts overall on another 2 hours of wrestling.
I actually think it's probably a great idea. I think it's actually really good. The reason being is because, as we just mentioned, Rampage already is kind of considered the Sunday Night Heat of AEW, and now it kind of just officially can be. So that's fine. So they can get away with it, and we don't have to be like, "Wow, Rampage really sucks." It's like, well, yeah, that's because they have their lesser known talent on that show.
Yeah.
However, like Skylar said, the roster's so big. You have so many people on that roster. I think that actually having two shows is a great thing for them, where whether they do a brand split or not, you can just have different wrestlers on each show, but still have, like, your top guys. You spread your top guys out around a little bit. You spread your middle card guys out around a little bit, and now you have 2 cards, 2 days of programming, where it looks like 2 complete wrestling shows, and you can actually further storylines in them, and you can actually that's the other thing about having a 2 hour slot, a lot more time for like promos and storyline work. You don't get as much of that on Rampage because you only get an hour. You can only fit 3 matches in Rampage, so a lot less of the backstage stuff and the promos and stuff. But I think with basically 4 hours of, if you're going to have like a major league and a minor league, so to speak, if you have 4 hours of major league broadcasting, you have to treat it as such. All of that being said, if they fail in that aspect, if this second show goes back to being just another Rampage, I think it could be absolutely catastrophic for them. So I think, like, you really need to come out, bring your big guns, and make a second show like Raw and SmackDown is, where they're both, if you're a fan of the product, they're both worth watching.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
I have
go
2
ahead.
points I need to bring up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one, I don't know if you guys caught with this within all the news, but Gain Collision, So Long Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yes.
Now, I know it's just a bunch of jabronis. I get it. But as we've been told by our, some of our friends of the shows, Chris and, Dutch and all those gentlemen, if you wanted to go wrestle on Dark or Dark Elevation, you could.
Right.
And I felt that was a good opportunity for that talent and some of the lesser known talent to have a platform on.
And that's just going to fall to Rampage now. That's all.
Yeah. But also,
is it?
Yeah. Tony will still bring indie guys on. He'll put them on Rampage. And that's what's going to happen. He's going to job them out to the lesser known guys that we don't see on the main shows all the time, your Dark Order guys and stuff like that.
Right.
And then, he'll find contracts through that way too, like just how he's been doing already. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Fair. I think
point number 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we now realize there is kind of an elephant in the room?
I mean, we might be some fat guys, but I wouldn't go that way.
Yeah, right. What the hell?
Ring of Honor.
Well, they're gonna.
What about that?
Well, supposedly they're gonna tape that with Collision because like they're gonna tape. I actually this my other point is I think this is going to improve.
I feel bad for these people that go to these shows.
No, but I actually think it's better. Well, it has the potential to be better this way, because my big pet peeve with the AEW live show is that you get Dynamite and then they do Rampage after, and because it's more or less a lesser show or they force stuff, the flow of it sucks. I'm hoping the flow is a little better. They can just tape Rampage before, because they're not so focused on, well, we got to use the Wednesday show to hype the Friday show, even though the Friday show is lesser and we tape it after the Wednesday show. So the crowd might be out of it because they just came up and they got to bring them back down and build them. It's like a whole thing. So I'm hoping the dynamic of that changes for the live crowd aspect of where, all right, cool, Rampage, we're taping Rampage like it's dark, and then we do the live show, everybody goes home. And
so
then, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, sorry.
And then Saturday the same deal. They could tape Ring of Honor, and then you can do the live 2 hour stuff, and then everybody goes home. And it's a Saturday, so if they want to start a show, like if it's going to air at 8 and you want to start your TV taping at like 6 or 6:30, you can do that for a Saturday date. It's tough to do that for a weeknight with people working and stuff. I don't think you're going to get people there, but a Saturday kind of gives you that ability to be a little more flexible with your timing. So you're not keeping a crowd at the arena till midnight, and you're not and I don't think you'll burn the crowd out, if you're having like a 3.5 hour show overall.
Okay. I think my question was less to do with that so much as where is it airing? Are we going to keep it as the Bullet Club, the Honor Club, and just have that be an exclusive streaming thing? And then while you were saying what you were saying just now, it popped into my head. This circles back around to Max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because which I'm waiting.
If they have the streaming deal, you throw Ring of Honor on there, boom, problem solved.
Well, supposedly,
I think that might be the solution, and I think that we're just waiting for an announcement at this point. I hope.
I'll say supposedly Ring of Honor programming is not included in this Warner Brothers deal. Like, I think they made a big thing to say that the Being the Elite YouTube show and Ring of Honor isn't a part of it, whereas all other AEW programming is now fully exclusive to Warner Brothers Discovery, which is why the Dark Elevation were scrapped.
Right.
Because they're not, I guess, I'm assuming they can put clips on YouTube as they do now, but I think full shows aren't there. And it's better. It's just better. And back to like the point about the indie stuff, a lot of those guys will still have opportunities. It may not be as much, but it's at some point you got to cut the cord and say, listen, sorry, our roster's our roster, and we got to focus on these guys we have, and we'll see you down the road type stuff.
If they could actually figure out what to do with that roster, then okay, cool.
Yeah. And then my last point I want to make before we kind of wrap up this little YouTube exclusive here, the whole CM Punk, again, it came out today, we're recording this, earlier today, they did the whole announcement. They left CM Punk supposedly off of the press release. Supposedly there's another little argument going on that CM Punk's now pissed because AEW won't rehire Ace Steel. And I personally think that's just like a work because maybe they want to keep.
Well, I think they want to keep tweets are trying to call bullshit on it.
No, and I'm sure they are, but if I'm just reading what all the bullshit news places suggest, that it's a silly, it would be such a silly thing. Exactly.
I was going to say, not to say that we haven't seen a certain level of pettiness out of CM Punk, but I think like this is even beyond reach. Like,
yes,
how petty can you be?
Exactly. And that's where I'm like, this is probably a work because you have so many rumors of basically, the first Collision, it's in Chicago. I wonder what's going to happen. Like it, maybe this is something to try and throw a wrench into it to maybe get people off of that a little bit, even though they should just promote the fact that he's going to be on the fucking show.
Fuck that.
Instead of keeping it a surprise.
Fuck that. Let them keep their secrets a little bit. Let's keep the kayfabe alive a little bit. As a matter of fact, I don't even think CM Punk should be at the top of the show like he was on that Rampage. I think you bring CM Punk back at the end of the show.
Make him wait.
Make everybody think maybe he's not coming back. And then boom, right at the end of the show, let him come out and confront MJF or Chris Jericho or whoever he's going to have his first feud with.
He should have a confrontation because I don't want his return to be more rah-rah speeches in his own words. He
needs to come out and have a face-to-face. I'm not saying like he needs to come out and be physical, but he needs to come out and have a face-to-face with somebody and just get that ovation, get that pop.
Yeah, fair.
Here's the thing with keeping him for the main event. The thing with keeping him for the main event is this is Chicago.
Oh, they're going to hijack the whole show, but it'll be great.
Yep.
Yes. Again. Okay. You basically summed it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need to say anything else.
That's they're going to hijack because they're going to get what they want at the end, and it's going to make it even better. And not for nothing,
but Chicago, I feel bad for everyone going on before that.
Chicago. No, fuck that. Maybe. I don't know. I love Chicago
they
crowds.
shouldn't be
I love
forced to have to like be
New
fed
York
to the
crowds, Chicago
Lions.
crowds, Toronto crowds, man. Like the way that they just take control of shows.
Listen, okay,
Yep.
you know what? You want the world to burn? You want the world to burn? You know who you have open the show? You know who you have open the show? Tell me who you have open the show. Take a guess. Take a
Colt
guess.
Cabana,
Thank you.
Oh my God.
which they won't.
No, of course it
Boom,
won't.
boom.
But
Listen,
the world will
yeah.
fucking burn if
Yep.
that happened.
Look, I'm interested to see how this all plays out. Like, ultimately, is it a show? Again, for me, it comes back to the streaming. You gotta make this deal with Max. That's at this point, if you're exclusive to Warner Brothers Discovery, that's your only streaming option. Because I've said it a million times, if you don't have cable, you can't watch this show without going out of your way and doing not so legal things to watch it. And I think they need to fix that because they're missing a lot of eyeballs. I think look, we did 900,000 people in our rating. I think those rating numbers are just becoming, it's just like dinosaur type like thinking at this point. It's just so ancient because streaming's the way to go, and YouTube clicks and stuff like that. But they got to figure out the streaming, because without it, who gives a fuck? Like, you're missing out on a big audience that doesn't have cable nowadays. I can watch Raw and SmackDown without cable. It's on Hulu, so like they got to figure it out and just get more eyeballs on the product before we start adding more hours of TV personally. So I hope that gets settled in the next couple of weeks before the Collision starts, just to get more people watching. But ultimately, like you said, if they execute it well and the storylines can be good and they give more time for segments to breathe and not feel like they have to cram 20 segments into a 2-hour show and rush everything, I think it'll go well. They clearly have the talent to do it. I just hope they execute it well.
Yeah.
But hey, it's more wrestling, I guess. There's already a lot, so to add 2 hours to that, I don't know, man. Personally,
all the wrestling.
I know. Personally, I don't know, man. It's too much. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, with everything now as it is. But listen,
I'll just turn non-football Sundays into wrestling Sundays.
Good Lord. Yeah, pretty much. But hey, listen, if a network comes along and says, we'll give you more money to do this show, fuck yeah.
Yeah, especially the money they're supposedly getting.
Yeah, but hopefully this fixes it, because again, Rampage is clearly broken. They can make it a Sunday Night Heat and the Dark Elevation, which I'm sure people watched. I personally didn't, but I think maybe there'll be less confusion about the AEW shows now. Okay, cool. AEW. All right. Not just, it's a bunch of jobbers. Okay, cool. But hey, we'll see what happens. But hey, the shit's in the news, so I felt like we had to talk about it.
Before we sign off, I do just want to address one thing that I wanted to address on the podcast, and just I respectfully slipped my mind. Just want to say that last night now, as of this recording, the superstar Billy Graham passed away.
Ah, yes.
So just kind of wanted to, condolences to the family. Obviously a legend in the business. Ended fucking Bruno Sammartino's 8-year run as champion. He was a legend, and just wanted to, give him a moment. Rest in peace.
The original superstar, man.
Yep.
That's where the term came from right there. Superstar Billy Graham.
He was ahead of his time before, he was ahead of his time, back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace to a fantastic performer. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Nice YouTube exclusive. We're going to do more of this stuff now. Like, we have our full podcast again. We just, the latest one, if you go listen, we just did a deep dive in AJ Styles' 2-decade career. Go check that out on, again, all the links down here below. You can get the link to Apple, Spotify, Paperweight Broadcast, Paperweight Project. All that stuff is in the description. And hey, remember, hit that subscribe button on here. Hit that bell. Get notified when we post these videos. Like I said, we're looking to do a lot more of these little short clips. So be on the lookout for more of those. And hey, till next time. Peace, everybody.